Welcome to Valorant Varsity Esports match between Blue Springs High School and Grain Valley.
Going into this, we can see that Blue Springs is currently carrying the spike. Sometimes we will see that people choose to either attack or defend, starting with what they're most uncomfortable with so that they can end with their best foot forward. Currently, we're not sure if they're doing that, but they may be doing that. We can see a lot of fighting going on already, running out. A lot of trading happening. Blue Springs down to 4, while Grain Valley is down to 3. Grain Valley now evening the odds a bit. Blue Springs immediately hitting back 2 of their players.
To a 3v1.
Currently, we have a KO left on Grain Valley's side. He manages to take out Rainbow, but Wrong Wizard is immediately on that angle and got him. The team moved in as a team together and went for the advantage right there.
Although it is early in the game, looking at it, we can make some predictions due to the kill board. Wrong Wizard and Ravage might be some of the more stronger components so far, but within the other games, we've seen that Astro has, along with Ravage, been some of the top contenders.
We've also seen Munch do some really strong plays. There was definitely a lot of trading going on in the first round, which means that each team is pretty evenly matched. It just looked like positioning was what got Blue Springs the advantage in that round. There's still over 13 more to go, so it can definitely change up quite a bit.
Looks at so pretty easily. Ravage has gotten Google down.
There's a lot of movement and positioning happening here from Blue Springs' side. We can see that a lot of the players on Grain Valley's side are moving around, and Blue Springs just so happens to have the angle on them, and that's giving them a big advantage.
It also seems that if Blue Springs is sticking together, or if only mild distance between each group, which is something that they've learned to be efficient within the past few games.
They've definitely found a bit of balance. Based on the last few games, we have seen that Blue Springs, either they split up too much and move around too much, or they stick together way too much. This time, they went for positioning mostly. They didn't stay all in one spot, and they didn't split up too far, and it's definitely doing well for them. This time, they're moving in all as a group from the looks of it.
Especially with Astro leading.
Which we have seen a lot. We've seen a lot of strong attacks from him, a lot of bleeding going on. We can see that they have at least spotted the enemy Killjoy. Google managing to get 2 back-to-back kills.
With Rainbow quickly getting Google in return.
That's definitely giving Grain Valley the advantage. It's now a 4-3, so Grain Valley can definitely come back from this. What we saw happening there was that Grain Valley had 2 people with angles on 1 person, which really could have easily killed him.
But in the end, Blue Springs still held tight, especially since Ravage was still around with a higher HP.
We saw some very vicious attacks going out by Ravage. He's definitely playing extremely competitively, and it's working out for him. The aggressiveness, for sure. We can see that Ravage is unsurprisingly doing the best thus far. We can see as well that each team has 1 ultimate ready.
We can see that Blue Springs is taking this pretty slow.
They're definitely playing aggressively. They're moving in fast, using a lot of abilities, and looking for a kill just so that they can pick at least 1 person off.
Ravage immediately almost getting flanked, but taking down Google pretty quick.
We saw right there, Google was reloading and waiting for a better position, and it just did not happen as Ravage pushed in very quickly. We can see that Axolotls Are Cute got 2 kills, but was sadly immediately killed after Ravage taking out 3 and now 4 of their team.
It is just props to Ravage's skill. We can see that Ravage and Astro both already have their ultimates.
And we're also seeing Rainbow following in second, followed by Wrong Wizard, both tied near the top of the leaderboard. Which is honestly the extremely shocking and notable part of this is that Astro and Munch have been doing amazing in the following rounds, or the previous ones. Meaning that it makes it look even better for Ravage that he's still managing to do better than them. But it looks like he's playing so aggressively he's taking the kills from the rest of his team and not really leaving openings for his team to follow up.
Yep. My assumption for why Rainbow has been playing so well, at least this game, is there's some friendly rivalry going on between not only on the Blue Springs side, but I know that some members of the Blue Springs team are friends outside with members of Green Valley. And so playing with and against your friends is definitely a good way to have motivation.
Well, it's definitely a lot more enjoyable on top of that, but in the meantime, we saw a lot of kills being traded. Google managing to take out 3 of Blue Springs' team, and Onyx Fox following not far behind.
We can see the Blue Springs have 4 ultimates, while Green Valley only has 2. And they look to be pretty matched on the credits, besides Shark Eagle having 7,000 credits.
Seeing as he's at the bottom of the leaderboard, one thing he could definitely be doing is waiting for a good time to spend those credits for something he's comfortable with, which means he's waiting to attack and hopefully giving them the advantage. One of the things you have to do when you're that confident with how many credits you're saving up is you have to find a time you know you're gonna win.
Entirely.
We can see Ravage taking out Google almost immediately. Google being one of the very aggressive players from Green Valley's team, followed by Onyx Fox, which is something we're seeing a lot, just the duo happening there.
We can see that Blue Springs has been suppressed by Green Valley, but that isn't stopping their just overall aggressiveness towards Green Valley.
Ravage once again taking out 3 of them this round, making it 5-1.
We can see Astros moving up on the kill board, which is very understandable for how he's been playing the past few games.
We also saw 2 ultimates go out there from Green Valley, which is definitely giving Blue Springs an ultimate advantage. They have 3-1 now.
And it looks as if Blue Springs has a little bit more credits thanks to Wrong Wizard now, meaning Shark Eagle has definitely used his.
He hasn't used a lot, but I can definitely see that he's used enough to buy a gun he's at least more comfortable with.
You can see that Blue Springs mainly sticks together and are taking it slow, except for Munch, who seems to be sneaking around to possibly flank the enemy team.
We saw Astro take out Axolotls right there. Shark Eagle also going out. Though it may be a 4-3 now, with Munch now dead, Onyx Fox taking him out. Green Valley's toughest players so far are still alive.
Yep. Rainbow just taking out Vance from what we can see, and Google, which is pretty good because Google just took out Astro.
We're seeing some back-to-back kills there, now making this a 3v1. The likelihood is that they're Killjoy, Onyx Fox, who just evened the playing field a bit, making it a 2v1.
With Ravage at low HP, it is possible for Onyx Fox to turn things around, but then again, it's Ravage. He didn't stand much of a chance.
What we saw there was Ravage was watching his teammates back, as he should. He immediately saw movement and went for it accordingly. We're seeing 3 ults versus 4. Blue Springs with the more ults ready. From the looks of it, they're waiting until the switch happens to use their ults, because they're more confident in what's going on currently.
Yeah. Plus, when the switch happens, I believe Blue Springs will be able to play a little bit more comfortably, but so far they have been playing pretty well.
I feel that Grain Valley may have actually done what we were thinking Blue Springs did. They could have chosen the one they were least comfortable with to wait for the switch.
They might have.
And we're seeing another ultimate going out from Grain Valley side. Blue Springs, once again, still saving theirs.
We can see that Grain Valley has already had 2 members of their team knocked down. And Munch spotting an enemy.
We saw Astro and Ravage get a kill, followed by Google. Rainbow also getting a kill, making this a 4v1. At this point, it's looking pretty impossible for Grain Valley, as Grain Valley now has 4 guns trained right on their 1 player.
Although, if you were able to notice, Google, the Grain Valley player that was sticking around the longest, he was taking advantage of the cover that he had, which allowed him to knock out some of the Blue Springs players, despite being the last one standing.
Yeah, an amazing headshot that we saw there coming from Wrong Wizard. You could barely see him. He was barely clipped behind that box, and he went for it and got it. Going into this, we can see that Blue Springs did use one of their ults, but Grain Valley happened to have used 2. So once again, Blue Springs has gained some advantage over them. Not just the total scoreboard advantage. We saw a trade go on between Onyx Fox and Ravage. Ravage got a kill and Onyx Fox took him out, following closely behind. Vance picking it up, getting 2 kills on Blue Springs side, taking out Rainbow and Astro.
Which is...
We saw Munch trying to get some shots off there and missing because it was just barely far enough behind.
With that, we can definitely tell that Grain Valley realized that both Astro and Ravage are some of Blue Springs' strongest players. And they took advantage of knocking down Ravage first to get Astro.
And they saved their final ult. We can see that their credit totals went down, so they definitely bought guns that they were more comfortable with. We can see Blue Springs once again moving out similarly to the way that they have been, almost immediately going to plant the spike, trying to give themselves a lot more time. Sorry, not Blue Springs. Grain Valley planted it, I believe.
We can see that Blue Springs pretty quickly took out a lot of Grain Valley's teammates. With another easy victory for Blue Springs.
They definitely put the pressure on there. As they planted the spike almost immediately, it made Grain Valley need to move in a lot quicker, and they couldn't stay as calm and collected as before. And they completely took advantage of that.
It's one of the key things when playing these sorts of games. It's knowing what tactics to use and whether or not you should rush such things. Especially because if you run in head first, you might not be able to predict what comes next. but sometimes once when you get a good look at your enemy, rushing in to the point where, before they can react will provide you the advantage.
We can see Ravage going out. Axolotl's getting the kill on top of it.
Mm-hmm. You see that Blue Springs is mainly stuck together this time, which is quickly 3 characters coming down from Google's end. A 3rd win for Green Valley.
We also saw some gun swapping going on. Green Valley definitely has guns that they're more comfortable with at this point, as they've taken them from Blue Springs on top of it.
Mm-hmm.
But at this point, Blue Springs, some of them are running quite low on credits.
Yeah.
This being the final round before the switch, Blue Springs does still have the spike.
Yep. We could see that Google is definitely someone that Blue Springs is wanting to be wary of, just how they are just how Green Valley is wanting to be wary of Ravage and Astro.
Definitely. We've seen a lot of Google and Onyx Fox staying together, and that's been a combo for trouble.
Mm-hmm. You can see that pretty quickly, Wrong Wizard having gotten Onyx Fox and Google getting Rainbow.
We can also see a lot of things coming out from Astro, definitely making use of a lot of KO's abilities. We saw Ravage going for the kill there, but Shark Eagle getting the advantage, peeking out in time and shooting just a lot quicker. Astro in a corner in a very uncomfortable spot, right where there are multiple enemies.
Honestly, that was a good play on Green Valley's end. Especially when it came to the end with pushing Astro into a spot where no matter which direction you would leave, that there would be an enemy there to either flank him or face him head on.
Now that the switch has happened, Green Valley will be attempting to place the spike. And attacking can definitely be a lot harder and more hectic, so we'll just have to see how each team performs. It's currently 8-4, Green Valley having half the points that Blue Springs does, but this could possibly be the rotation that they are more comfortable with, so they could definitely gain the advantage and take this game.
We can see that pretty quickly Google took out Wrong Wizard and then Vance with Ravage. So it is very, very likely that this is Green Valley's tactic.
We can also see that Blue Springs is splitting up a lot more than before. Green Valley's staying all in one spot together. An amazing round from Green Valley. Google definitely at the top of the leaderboard, getting a lot of kills for Green Valley's team.
Mm-hmm. The team sticking together definitely help push the advantage.
It definitely impacted a lot of positioning and angles that each team got.
We can see that pretty quickly.
Blue Springs immediately advanced on that.
Mm-hmm.
They stuck together, immediately went out, saw that Green Valley was together, but not enough to counter their numbers, and went for the kills.
We can see that Onyx Fox is the last one standing, but he doesn't have much of a chance, even though he did knock out a few Blue Springs players.
Definitely. He was still in a corner, but there were 2 people that moved out on him, so regardless of him getting one, the other had a shot trained on him immediately.
Mm-hmm.
We can still see that Ravage is definitely doing better than anybody else in the entire lobby thus far. He's doing very well for sure.
Well, he has been playing aggressive this entire time, and looking upon the minimap, we can see the Blue Springs is pretty split up.
Google taking out Astro, followed by Rainbow taking out Google.
And Axolotl's taking out Rainbow.
Axolotl has been doing quite well lately, so they're definitely somebody to look out for.
Munch taking out Vance, who is another big player for
the enemy KO. Vance definitely pushed in a lot too far, right onto people.
With Munch getting Axolotls,
we saw Munch and Ravage move in together quite strongly, making it a 3v1, and in the end, definitely could not counter that.
We can see that Blue Springs is about 3 points away from winning.
Yep. At this point, they've once again turned the tides, making Grain Valley at exactly half of Blue Springs' point total. Grain Valley coming out with some really strong plays. Even throughout the leaderboard, we can just see that even the lowest on Blue Springs has more than their lowest. And in the end, it really does come down to the team itself and the positioning. It's definitely not to blame on any player's skill, because we've seen a lot of very strong plays come from each player in and of themselves.
You see Vance took out Rainbow while Astro took out Google before Google revived.
We saw a lot of trading happening there, but in the end, Grain Valley managed to gain a small advantage. Ravage getting a kill, evening the playing ground again. The only one on Blue Springs' side with any missing health happens to be their KO.
We could see that the spike was planted on Grain Valley's end, but we have Ravage here already defusing it. But Onyx Fox quickly took out Ravage before Munch taking them out.
We also saw Astro kind of trying to watch his back. Now it comes down to Munch and Astro. Astro finishing up with the defuse, Munch keeping Grain Valley at bay.
Just 2 more points needed before Blue Springs wins this match too.
Definitely. It's completely possible for Grain Valley to make a comeback, but Blue Springs has got a huge advantage, and if they can just capitalize on it a little longer, they'll definitely be able to make it.
With the match now starting again, we can see that Blue Springs is rather split up this time.
They're once again going with a similar split up tactic, definitely looking for positioning and better angles than Grain Valley.
It seems that most of them are in pairs, except for Wrong Wizard, who is on his own.
They're definitely once again looking for positioning. There's a main point where they're all looking to fight at this point. Ravage taking out Google immediately. A clash between each top player, and Google ends up going down this time.
We can hear the Blue Springs finding out where, at least somewhere similar to where, Grain Valley is.
We also saw Vance take out one on Blue Springs' side. Astro, Blue Springs KO, took a lot of damage from that ability going out right there.
But seeing as Grain Valley has to spike, Blue Springs is going to have to push it.
We saw Vance sitting in cover right there. Munch getting taken out. Astro trying to move in. Same with Ravage and Wrong Wizard. 4 kills coming out from Vance. Grain Valley's KO. Very strong plays on his part.
It seems that with Blue Springs splitting up, they weren't able to communicate where the enemy team was just yet, which allowed Grain Valley to plant the spike pretty early on. And if it wasn't for the fact that Grain Valley did knock out of all Blue Springs members, they probably would have also just been taken down due to the spike going off.
Green Valley now looking to even the odds a bit. They're definitely able to make a comeback at this point. They're just getting 1 point out of the way to their comeback.
Seems as if Blue Springs found some Green Valley members pretty early on.
We saw a lot of back and forth, a 2-player trade to be exact. Blue Springs attempting to play aggressively, being met by Vance, one of their better players, who was being followed by Onyx Fox. From the looks of it thus far, their Killjoy Onyx Fox definitely works well in a duo. And most of the strong plays in the game were accompanied by him.
We could see that Blue Springs has a team ultimate from Munch.
Definitely. We don't see any ults on Green Valley's side, so they could use that, but they're going to have to make very specific positioning of this. Green Valley now at a 4-point difference from Blue Springs, them slowly closing the gap. Each team, at least Blue Springs, they're all split up. They seem to be taking it slow. We can see some fighting down in the bottom left of the map. Google taking out Ravage. Back to back, him also taking out Wrong Wizard.
From the looks of it, though, Rainbow and Astro were near where they normally plant the spike, but it seems that Grand Valley changed spike placement this time.
We saw Astro moving very aggressively on Vance. Rainbow trying to watch where she is, kind of get an angle. Google being pretty much right behind her, getting that next kill. Google getting another kill on Astro and another kill on Munch, making that a full 5 kill from him.
We can see that Google and Ravage are almost tied for kills.
Which definitely means that Green Valley is closing that gap a lot more.
They're getting more comfortable with the area that they're in and the enemy that they're going up against.
At this point, it is 11-8, meaning that Green Valley only has a 3-point difference. Blue Springs needing 2 points to win. If they can just manage to make those 2 games good ones, they could win this, but Green Valley could definitely take it from them.
We can see that Blue Springs has once again split up, with what appears to be Ravage and Rainbow going on their own.
Though we can see that there's a bit of them trying to get back into duos like before. Astro kind of being the outlier. We can see Munch with both Ravage and Wrong Wizard.
See Rainbow taking out Sharks and Onyx taking out Rainbow.
Definitely some even trading going on. Though Vance took out Astro when it came down to KO versus KO. In the end,
we have
Vance managed to win that. Munch taking out 2 people. Vance coming back and taking out 2 more. Onyx Fox versus Munch in the end. Munch had taken a lot of damage and Onyx Fox knew just what to do.
Which is a shame because Blue Springs was really close to defusing that spike.
Definitely. They moved in even though it was a bad positioning from them and almost made it.
We can see that this time around, 3 of Green Valley's members have their ultimate already compared to Blue Springs only having 2. Which was very different compared to the early game.
Now what we're seeing in terms of these statistics is that while Ravage does still have the most kills, we can see that Green Valley, 2 of their players rather than 1, are catching up in terms of kills.
Google immediately taking out Ravage, Wrong Wizard, and Astro, with Munch then getting Google.
What we saw there was Blue Springs, rather than moving out as a team, they went out 1 by 1, which was in the same line of fire for Google, and he immediately got 3 kills.
It's taking advantage of the situation that you're put in.
Definitely. If Blue Springs were to do anything like that again, they were definitely going to want to push as a team, as they had better numbers. They had 3 versus 2 right there. They could have won that easily, but they all chose to push out separately. One of them pushed out, died, and then another did it, and their timing was just a bit too off.
Mm-hmm.
It is now 10-11, making that 2 needed on Blue Springs side, 3 needed on Grain Valley's. They can definitely win this.
You can see that already the Google has taken out, right? You just immediately, Grain Valley is taking out some of Blue Springs players. Although Blue Springs has taken out Google, which is one of their better players.
Surprisingly, well, unsurprisingly actually, it was Rainbow this time. Normally you'd think it's the people that are both on the top of the leaderboard that would be more competitive, but Rainbow really went for that.
With it being a 3v4, we can see that Blue Springs is playing it a little safe, sticking into corners and places that they can hide behind with good coverage.
Definitely. Though we can see that Grain Valley is making total use of Killjoy's ability. They planted the spike, so they've got the advantage, making it a 3v4 with Blue Springs needing to move a lot faster than before.
With Astro pretty quickly taking Axolotls or Cute out, and Vance getting Wrong Wizard, we can see Astro then taking Vance.
Vance definitely moved in behind, got a kill, but was in horrible positioning following it.
It is now a 1v1, which did not last long.
Astro getting a 3rd kill, but walking out at a time where he had to reload definitely was not the best option.
It is now tied between Blue Springs and Grain Valley.
Getting caught by the reload is definitely something that happens on both sides quite a bit. But at a time like that, it was definitely at its most inconvenient.
Mm-hmm. We can see on Blue Springs end, there's 4 ultimates already. Which makes me wonder how Blue Springs is gonna take advantage and use these ultimates.
Now that the game is tied, they're definitely gonna need to start using a lot more of them than before.
We can see that Ravage tried to take out Google, only for Google to take advantage of the openness on Ravage's end.
Ravage definitely had the advantage there as he was in a corner, but Google knew that that was a very good position spot and went for it, and that's what in the end gave him the advantage.
See Google quickly taking out Astro and Munch.
Google getting 4 kills. We can now see that Wrong Wizard is put in a very difficult spot. He's definitely not going to be able to make this, seeing as they have all 5 of their teammates alive. The spike is down.
So not only being on a time limit, he is outnumbered. And with staying so still in one spot, it does give him some sort of comfortability, but also it's not going to get him any wins.
We can definitely see that he was possibly talking it out, waiting to see what he should do, though there's not much that he can. Sadly, it was definitely an inevitable happenstance that he did die there, seeing as all of his team was gone. It's definitely hard in a game that's 5 versus 5 when you are the only one left.
Mm-hmm. And we can tell that Blue Springs needs to step it up, seeing as Grain Valley is 1 point away from winning.
Grain Valley did definitely make a very large point comeback.
Mm-hmm. They clearly chose the offer that they were most uncomfortable with first.
At this point, Blue Springs has to win this one, or it is Grain Valley's game.
You can see that Blue Springs is all within together in a similar area. Albeit everyone is slightly split up. We can see pretty quickly that there's definitely action going around with Ravage taking out Onyx Fox and Vance getting Rainbow.
Ravage back-to-back getting Axolotl, making this a 4v3. Astro getting a kill on Google, Munch getting a kill on Shark Eagle very quickly. They had the positioning and they played extremely aggressively. Munch then taking out Vance, leaving them a perfect amount of time to defuse the spike. Meaning that this is now a 12v12 and the next round determines the winner. Grain Valley has made leaps and strides in comebacks, though Blue Springs has won the last game, making it possibly easier for them to win the following game.
It is just a matter of this next game. You can see that Google has a few more kills than Ravage, but we can only hope with Blue Springs that they're going to stick together and take advantage of the situation that they're in.
We can also see that nobody on either side has ultimates out, though Grain Valley has a lot more credits. They're definitely going to want to pour into this round. From the looks of it, though, they aren't, meaning they might have something they're more comfortable with up their sleeves.
You see that Blue Springs is sticking together in groups, a group of 2 and a group of 3. With Ravage and Munch being together, while Rainbow... we could tell, we could hear that Grain Valley has planted the spike, so Blue Springs is on a time limit now.
We saw Wrong Wizard get a very strong kill. There was a lot of back and forth, though Google and Vance both took 2 out, making this a 3v2.
With Astro standing left, and it sounds like the spike about to be done, he did not stand much of a chance, although that was a great 2 kills from him against Vance and Onyx Fox.
Leaving it down to Ravage, who was the best player, did manage to take out 2 of them when it was a 1v3, making it very strong play. In the end, it's going into a match point, so Blue Springs could possibly
still turn this around. Although with how competitive Grain Valley is playing, we can only hope for so much.
Definitely. Blue Springs seems to be a bit better early in the game, but it ends up being early on positioning that wins each team their game, considering that both teams are comprised of very good players.
From the looks of it, Blue Springs is taking advantage of all these vantage points.
There's not a lot of movement happening to start out here, but they can definitely tell that somebody is right there. They're sort of pretty much finding each other, trying to get more information than the other team at this point. Blue Springs has to win this one.
They do.
Which has definitely put them in a much tougher spot. At this point in the game, Grain Valley just needs to not get overconfident. They need to pick what they're comfortable, do what they know they can win as, and keep it up. Blue Springs needs to do about the same.
We can see Ravage coming in, taking down Google, which is a pretty smart move, seeing as Google is one of their better players.
Vance going out from Munch, too, on top of that. Vance being a strong player, Axolotl, too, and Onyx Fox making this a 5v1.
With Shark Eagle being the last one standing, it's not likely that he's going to win, especially since he ran straight into Ravage and Munch.
Straight into that shotgun on top of it. Each of the players are very strong, including Shark Eagle, but many people cannot handle a 5v1. It's almost impossible.
Once again, we are at the deciding factor.
Yep, we've once again reached a tie. Each team has 13 points, Blue Springs and Grain Valley.
Although Grain Valley still has more credits, but it doesn't look to be that they're using them, so.
Surprisingly, it doesn't appear that they are.
You see that Blue Springs mainly is sticking together besides Munch.
We can see that wall almost immediately being taken out by Blue Springs. They're not leaving any sort of advantage that Grain Valley can get, though Google immediately takes out Munch.
Though, with Blue Springs sticking together, this can be very beneficial to them, but it can also cause a lot of problems if they're not careful.
As this is a 4v5, Grain Valley definitely does have the advantage going on. Grain Valley's team managing to be behind Blue Springs, Google taking out, once again, another person, him taking out Wrong Wizard.
But Blue Springs has the spike planted.
Onyx Fox and Axolotl taking 2 of them out, Astro taking 1 out.
With Onyx Fox taking the final kill.
Once again, an overtime match point. Blue Springs now has to win this one as well.
Seeing how close it is, Blue Springs and Grain Valley are neck and neck.
Definitely. And at this point, Grain Valley has actually managed to get their leading player, Google, more kills than Blue Springs.
Which is a pretty big deal, seeing as earlier this game, Ravage was just taking control of the kill board. You can see that Blue Springs is pretty split up, taking advantage in checking each corners. With Ravage having found some enemies pretty quickly on.
So we can see that nobody has gone down yet. They're all waiting for a good time. Ravage, once again, dodging an ability, seeing as Grain Valley now knows where he is.
See that Ravage is at pretty low health due to this. You can see that Rainbow is slowly creeping down, either to help support Ravage.
We also saw that she was definitely going for some angles there, but it was very far, and she definitely didn't manage to get them, though it was close. We saw Munch trying to bait out Shark Eagle right there, and it working almost completely. Now making this a 3v2, Google sets to even the playing field, Onyx Fox getting a kill. Now being a 1v1 between Munch and Google.
All while the spike is slowly ticking down.
Google managing to get that final kill, gain the advantage, and the win for this match goes to Grain Valley.
Welcome to game 2 of Grain Valley versus Blue Springs. Grain Valley having won last round. We have Blue Springs defending and Grain Valley attacking.
Grain Valley definitely making a very amazing comeback right there. We can see a lot of trade-ups going on. We can see that Rainbow is now a Raze as well as Google. We can see that Grain Valley has added a Sky to their team. There's still an Omen and a Sage on Blue Springs side, and still a Sage, a Brimstone, and a Killjoy on Grain Valley side, as well as a Killjoy on Blue Springs side. But a lot of trade-up happening.
Immediately, pretty quickly, we see Munch taking out 2 of Grain Valley's team members. One of them being Google, which was a big contender last round.
And Vance on top of that. Vance had a lot of really strong plays that countered Blue Springs. It now being a 5v3, Grain Valley is definitely going to have to be careful as to what they do here.
Then again, seeing as last game and how we saw that went around, I don't think Grain Valley is too worried if things start out rough in the beginning.
Definitely, they did make an over half-point difference comeback.
You can see Astro spotted 2 of Grain Valley's teammates.
At that, getting 2 back-to-back headshots on them.
He did have the vantage point of being higher up, with Onyx Fox being the last one standing, only to get taken out by Munch.
A definite win there for Blue Springs, making it a 5v1. He did manage to take out 1 on Grain Valley side, but Blue Springs came back as expected and won that.
We can see pretty quickly that Munch is taking the lead on the kill board compared to last time how it was Ravage. It seems that it's likely that Ravage isn't going to be playing so immediately aggressively this time.
On top of that, I don't feel that he even had the opportunity
to play it so aggressively.
A lot of weird tongue ties happening there. I don't know why. My brain had a malfunction for a little bit.
I entirely get that. Do not worry.
I just don't think he had the opportunity. Munch right out the gate with 2 kills. I mean, Astro not following far behind definitely blocked off some of the possible kills for the other team, but gave them a good advantage, so there's definitely no complaining in that regard. We can see Munch running around with his knife out.
Sometimes you just gotta have a little bit of the knife play.
Onyx Fox taking out Ravage on top of it, making it a 5v4 now. We see a bit of peeking going on. Wrong Wizard jumping down, ends up going out. Onyx Fox specifically taking him out. So he did manage to get a kill before he went out. Vance as Sky now, instead of KO. Astro getting 3 back-to-back kills. Rainbow losing to Vance, making this Vance versus Astro. Astro at full health on top of it. He can definitely do this. He's done extremely well. The only issue being that Vance is a Sky and can heal himself.
Along with that, Vance on the Grain Valley side is attacking. So it is highly likely that Vance will be able to place the spike, but walk straight into Astro.
Astro was definitely trying to play for that time. Vance went in because he was pressured by that time, and Astro was ready, making him come out of that match with 4 kills.
And being pushed straight to the top of the leaderboard.
Astro definitely playing a lot better than before.
And once again, we see that Ravage haven't gotten any time to just react.
He's definitely been there, but he's been, from the looks of it, what could be a very good trump card for their team.
Ravage might be playing low for this match. That way he can count around when things are needed.
Definitely. We can see that the spike's planted now, which means that Grain Valley is running out of time slowly. Vance and Google taking out Astro and Wrong Wizard.
Or
At this
well,
point,
when
the two strongest players we're seeing thus far are Munch and Ravage. Ravage going down to Vance.
wouldn't it be Blue Springs running out of time, seeing as Grain Valley is the one attacking currently?
Either way, we're still seeing a lot of back and forth. Vance proving himself to be the strongest enemy currently. As a Sky at that, he's not specifically a character that is made for attacking, though he is definitely one. Well, I mean, he is definitely to a certain amount of regard, but he is making full use of it. He possibly, even at this point, changed to a character he happened to be more comfortable with. We saw Astro get 1 kill, Ravage get 2 back-to-back kills at that. Ravage fighting for another one.
It is currently a 3v2 for Blue Springs and Grain Valley, but Ravage seems to be at pretty low health.
Vance taking out Rainbow, making this a 3v2 instead of the previous 4v2. The only players left on Grain Valley's side are a Brimstone and a Sky. The Vance Sky going out, leaving Shark Eagle, who is taken out by Wrong Wizard, who is playing Sage.
Leaving Blue Springs to defuse the spike. You see that now Astro's jumped, well, Ravage has jumped up in the kill board, seeing as he was given some time to shine finally.
Definitely. He's definitely gone up, unsurprisingly. He may have possibly been going with a comfort pick in picking Omen. A lot of people do seem to like Omen. So on top of that, I'm sure he is a character that Ravage has played quite a bit. Onyx Fox also jumping to second on the leaderboard on Grain Valley's side, which is almost unsurprising.
Mm-hmm. Astro, though, taking out Onyx Fox pretty quickly.
Vance and Google getting back-to-back kills on Ravage and Astro, making this a 4v3, leaving Rainbow and Munch and Wrong Wizard.
Grain Valley was smart taking out both,
Possibly a kill to turn the tides. Blue Springs took out Vance, who has proved to be one of the top players on the other team this round. Leaving each of Blue Springs' players at full health on top of it. Google taking out Wrong Wizard, now being a very uncomfortably placed 2v2. Google has proved that he, once again, is not somebody to underestimate. Blue Springs tried to move in time as they were more pressured by time and just could not. They walked into a very uncomfortable position. Both of their players had angles on them that were very awkward for Blue Springs. We can see a sniper going out as well, possibly.
On what appears to be Munch.
Astro had one for a while there, but I think he definitely changed his mind after that.
You can hear some action in the distance, but can't fully see it just yet.
We can see the 3 of Blue Springs are together. Astro tried to move into where Munch was, but Munch was taken out by Google before he could. We're seeing a duo going on while Wrong Wizard is now following Astro, trying to make sure that they both have 2 players together. We can see that Rainbow is now sticking back, though, away from Ravage. Ravage going out to Vance on top of it. Astro taking out Google. Now meaning that the biggest threat on the other team is still Vance, and they're running out of time. Well, this is a 3v4. Now being a 3v3, it looks like they are going to run out of time.
It was a good attempt on Blue Springs' end. I'll give them that.
They definitely evened out the number issue, but in the end, Grain Valley did have a lot more time.
Rain Valley also appears to have a lot more credits currently.
Definitely. There are a lot more wins that aren't just kills going on in this match as well.
Mm-hmm.
We can see that Grain Valley's Killjoy, Onyx Fox, is using his ability on top of it. Munch killed Onyx Fox, followed by Vance, evening the odd and taking out Munch. Ravage taking out Vance, which could possibly be a very good turning point for them. Astro taking out Axolotl and Shark Eagle.
Leaving just one more member left on Grain Valley's side, which doesn't last long, seeing as Ravage.
The concerning thing definitely was that it was Google being the last one. If anybody could make up for that difference, even though it is very difficult and unlikely, I feel it could have been Google.
Entirely.
Though I would be much more concerned about Vance. He has really stepped it up this round.
It seems as if, in my opinion, Vance is playing a character he's more comfortable with, if anything.
Definitely. And I've seen him utilize some of the skills very strongly on top of it. This time, Astro, still playing KO, is doing much better as well. Ravage almost immediately taking out Google. Astro taking out Axolotl.
And Rainbow taking out Vance. Leaving Onyx Fox and Shark Eagle, only to have Shark Eagle be the last one standing. Seeing as the spike was planned and Blue Springs is on a bit of a time crunch.
They were already defusing at this point, and sadly for Shark Eagle, from his perspective, he had 3 different people shooting at him. We can see Grain Valley has 3 ultimates ready, and
Blue Springs has 4, so
definitely. And they could, that's a small advantage that they could use, try to capitalize on, but then again, they don't really know that. Grain Valley does have a lot more credits. They are using them a lot more sparingly, for sure. Blue Springs still has the advantage only by 2 rounds, though.
And seeing with the last game, it seems as if there isn't any gap that Grain Valley can't close.
For sure, they definitely closed a very large, almost impossible for some teams, gap. We can hear a lot of abilities going out back and forth. There's a few exchanges of bullets happening as well.
We can see Wrong Wizard over here taking the advantage point with higher up, especially that is ideal for a sniper.
We still see a lot of back and forth going on. It's very silent, surprisingly. Though we can see that Blue Springs Sage and Omen both took a lot of damage. Rainbow as well, now to 14 health. Wrong Wizard and Astro taking out Google and Onyx Fox. Definitely a duo that would have caused them a lot of trouble.
Although Vance is still around.
Rainbow took out 2 of them, only to be countered by Vance taking out 2 of them as well.
It seems as if Blue Springs is just buying for the time.
As Vance was the only one left versus 3 people, it seems that he chose not to attack and to hang back.
We can see Blue Springs over here trading and buying things for each other.
Definitely. While some of them have a lot less credits, they're still taking care of each other. And in the end, that is something that could possibly win them the game.
Having that cooperation with your team does hold to be a valid part of games like these.
Though the concerning part is we're seeing exactly what we saw last round. Grain Valley has exactly half the points that Blue Springs has, and it stayed that way for quite a while in the previous round until Grain Valley closed that huge gap and won it.
So it is very likely that Grain Valley might pull this again, but seeing as currently there is a 5v2, well, not anymore.
We saw some back and forth going on there. Rainbow has been doing so much better as of late, closing a lot of the gaps that are happening. Seeing based on how Vance just attacked there, I can definitely see how he might have been winning. When somebody was showing me how to play Valorant, I was told to stop moving when I shot, but he managed to stay on the move and shoot. And I think that that's been what's working out really well for him.
Mm-hmm. If you go on what playstyle you're comfortable with, along with the characters and tool sets and weaponry, it makes all the more advantage for you.
Unsurprisingly, and actually quite surprisingly based on how we've been seeing things go on, Astro still has a total overall lead over Vance.
Onyx Fox taking Ravage out pretty quickly.
We're seeing a lot more surprising plays. Some of the players who have been staying a little further down on the leaderboard are really coming back up and showing off. We're seeing Rainbow do a lot as of recent. Munch taking out Google and Rainbow taking out Onyx Fox.
With Rainbow also taking out 2 more players and Vance.
Munch
took out Vance. My bad.
We saw them get separated there, so that definitely could have caused problems for them, but they managed to deal with it well, and it did definitely help them in the end.
We can see that each team is tied for ults, but with the switch soon to happen, I believe they are being saved for advantages where they can push.
Surprisingly, Astro didn't get any kills there. Most of them were between Munch and Rainbow, who are both tied in terms of kills.
They're clearly playing more comfortably.
Definitely, though next round is the switch, which can really throw them off. Though we did see them play extremely well when they were the ones controlling the spike.
Mm-hmm.
We can see Munch taking out Axolotl almost immediately. Now making this a 5v4, still with Google and Vance alive on the other team. We saw an ability go out from Vance, but Ravage took him out almost immediately after.
Which is all the more props to the Blue Springs players.
Munch taking out Shark Eagle, followed by his 3rd kill taking out Google, making this only Onyx Fox remaining. With them defusing the bomb, they've pretty much covered all positions.
And Wizard taking out Onyx Fox.
Blue Springs moved in aggressively in that final round before the switch. They took all possible angles and made sure that their team could make it.
Mm-hmm.
They had a considerable amount of time left on top of it.
Indeed. And looking at it, we have Wrong Wizard holding the spike.
We have seen him moving along the backlines quite a bit more, and that's definitely a playstyle that has been beneficial for Blue Springs' team.
Mm-hmm. See, the Blue Springs is taking it slow, with most of them sticking together and making sure that they're staying in groups. Looks like we have Rainbow, Wizard, and Ravage all together.
Munch taking out Axolotl once again almost immediately. Between those two, it's almost immediate as of how the past 3 rounds have gone. Google taking out Rainbow. Wrong Wizard managing to even it out, taking out Google.
Ravage getting Onyx Fox, and now planting the spike.
Leaving a Sky and a Brimstone on the other team, being Shark Eagle and Vance. Vance goes out to Astro. Shark Eagle kills Astro, making this a 2v1. Munch has some good angles going on against Shark Eagle, manages to get a headshot on him.
And winning the round.
Making this a 10 to 3 point difference, with Blue Springs now playing what looks to be their most comfortable side.
I still believe it is possible for Grain Valley to turn things around.
Seeing
Especially
how they did before,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
But also, looking at it before, Grain Valley did have more points when they turned it around.
They definitely did. They had at least 2 more points, which was half at the time of Blue Springs' point total.
And Munch, if you saw that, took Vance out pretty quickly early game.
This could definitely be much, much harder for Grain Valley at this point. Google took out Ravage, though. We're seeing some more competitiveness going on between Google and Ravage, who were the previous top of the leaderboard each time.
Mm-hmm. We can see that Munch also has gotten down Onyx Fox, but Google got down Rainbow and Astro.
That being that being Google's 3rd kill, this making Munch's 4th kill, taking out Shark Eagle.
With Wizard taking out Axolotl. Just as the spike goes off.
Axolotl not being immediately picked off this round. Definitely a pleasant change for them, I'm sure. Google surpassing Vance in total number of kills once again.
And Blue Springs needing 2 more wins before this game's over.
Which means that Grain Valley now needs 10. On top of it, from the looks of it, Grain Valley is not playing the side that they are most comfortable with.
Mm-hmm. Google immediately taking out Rainbow and Wizard before Astro takes him out. And Astro also taking out Axolotls pretty quickly.
Now making it almost completely even until Onyx Fox took out Astro, who was in the middle of using an ability when he ran into him at the time.
Munch is taking advantage of a corner that they're in currently. Now planting the spike. See that Ravage is not too far behind Munch. Doing his best to support. But walking straight into Onyx Fox.
Onyx Fox definitely doing quite a bit better. Munch killing Shark Eagle until he ends up getting killed by Vance, who silently survived that round, and it definitely gave them quite the advantage. He ended up playing more of the role of a trap card rather than a main aggressor, and it definitely worked well for them. Followed by Onyx Fox, who did exceedingly well that round as well.
Mm-hmm.
We're seeing some very strong plays go out by Munch. He's passed both Astro and Ravage for the top spot on the leaderboard currently.
Which is honestly no surprise, seeing as how well Munch has been playing.
He's definitely picked it up quite a bit.
It might be possible that Grain Valley can turn things around, seeing as how they did last game. But still, Blue Springs just needs 2 points.
While Grain Valley needs 9. We're seeing a lot of abilities go out, a lot of movement specifically to avoid set abilities.
Mm-hmm.
We're seeing the spike get planted as well.
Especially early on, that's gonna cause Rain Valley to have to rush.
We
You
saw
see Google
take
took out Ravage and Wong Wizard. Well, Munch takes out Onyx Fox, Google, and Axolotls are cute.
3 back-to-back coming from Munch. Vance taking out Rainbow, Astro taking out Vance, Shark Eagle taking out Munch, in the end leaving it Shark Eagle to Astro. Astro was in the middle of using an ability, and Shark Eagle managed to take advantage of that.
It's definitely possible now, seeing as how with Grand Valley's been playing, that they'll be able to turn this around.
Definitely. This is what they pulled last round. They've still got a lot of credits. Each side has one ultimate up. Blue Springs is definitely going to have to be careful here.
They can really only hope for the best this time.
At this point, they're hoping to pull through with those last 2 rounds before Grain Valley can catch up with the 8-point difference.
It looks as if Wizard is holding the spike currently. But Google, like, knocking out so many players while Rainbow knocks down Google.
Blue Springs was trying to play entirely too aggressively there at that point. They all moved in together way too fast and immediately got picked off.
Mm-hmm.
It was just not a smart play at that point.
You can only hope for the best for Blue Springs. Once again, Wizard has the spike.
Grain Valley now closing that gap once again.
Definitely probably has Blue Springs on their
Blue Springs is once again moving fast, but they've definitely seemed to have toned it down after what happened last round.
We have Wizard planting the spike pretty quickly.
We can see them possibly being a bit more cautionary with their abilities now, seeing as how their abilities have been what caused them to die a few times.
Munch getting taken out by Google and Onyx Fox taking out Astro, leaving it at 3v5. We can only hope that they last out long enough to
Wrong Wizard coming in with a 2-kill, surprisingly. Axolotl getting the kill on him. Ravage managing to even up a little bit more, making this a 2v1. Though Ravage is at half health.
But we can hear the spike is about to go off, so...
Definitely. We're not seeing any signs of them defusing it. Ravage taking out Onyx Fox, who was busy defusing the spike, and managing to stall just enough time for them to get that point. Now making it Grain Valley once again with half the amount of points that Blue Springs has.
Although around this time, Blue Springs is just 1 point away from winning.
Timeout coming from Grain Valley. Not Grain Valley. Blue Springs.
They're probably discussing on how to face this next round, seeing as this is the winning point for them.
We can definitely see that Google has the most kills thus far. Munch has definitely taken a lot bigger leap and stride in terms of his kill amount. He's doing extremely well this round. We're seeing that Astro once again is doing very well as Ravage. Though Munch and Astro have got very large leads on those numbers.
And also from the looks of it, that Astro and Munch have often been sticking together, if you've noticed.
Definitely, and it's very much so working out for them. With 5 seconds left, each team definitely may have gotten some more of an idea of what they want to do. Blue Springs definitely only needs that one last point, while Grain Valley needs 7 points.
Mm-hmm. It seems that Wizard again has a spike.
If they can band together and get it out of the way, Blue Springs will even this round out, making the total win count a 1v1, and that's all they can hope for at this point. We're hearing a lot of shooting going on back and forth.
With Google taking out Munch, which is a smart move on their end.
Definitely. It happened very quickly on top of it. Google taking out
Astro.
A lot of back and forth. Google now with a third kill and a fourth taking out Rainbow and Wrong Wizard, leaving Ravage, their Omen, as the last one. Taking out Vance with a headshot on top of it. At this point, all Grain Valley has to do pretty much is just take out Ravage.
But
Ravage takes out Onyx Fox, though Google with his 5th kill takes out Ravage.
It's now 12v7. So Blue Springs can still turn this around.
Though Grain Valley is once again closing that gap. Blue Springs is going to have to be careful here.
It seems that... Well, Rainbow temporarily had the spike. It looks like they're discussing on who to have it. And they've decided once again to have Wizard.
Definitely. It seemed to work out for them so far, so there's no reason it shouldn't at this point.
Mm-hmm. It makes the most sense to have, at least in my opinion, to have Wizard hold it, seeing as Ravage, Astro, and Munch have all been very aggressive players, so they're going to be the ones targeted.
We saw a lot of back and forth. We're definitely seeing Google getting more kills. He took out Ravage almost immediately. Munch took out Axolotls, while Google almost immediately took out Munch. Vance getting 2 kills, while Onyx Fox gets 1. That gives them the win. Grain Valley once again closing the gap. We may see a repeat of the previous match.
Mm-hmm. Although there is 4 out of 5 ultimates on Blue Springs end ready.
Which means they could possibly be waiting. Though that doesn't seem smart. They're going to want to just go to pour it all into one round and hopefully win it, because that's all they need to do at this point.
Mm-hmm. We can only hope for the best with this.
Blue Springs is now moving a lot slower, seeing as they've run into a very strong force, which happens to be Grain Valley.
We can see that Munch is using his skill with Ravage actually holding the spike. And now planting.
At this point now, they're just trying to bait out Grain Valley in hopes that that will give them the advantage.
You can see pretty quickly that Astro has ran into the enemy sky.
We saw two abilities going out from Vance. Onyx Fox taking out Astro, though, with an assist from Vance.
With Ravage taking out Vance and Onyx Fox pretty quickly, and Munch taking out Shark Eagle, Axolotls, or Cute. It is now between Google, Munch, and Ravage, and that did not last long.
Munch got those 3 in the end, and Ravage got the other 2. With some great teamwork, the end score is now a 1-1. This was
Blue Springs High School versus Grain Valley.
the varsity match.